Biryani is a rice-based dish full of wonderful Indian spices. Make it in advance and just heat it up when you get home to top off a great day. Now I'm adding more water than I need because what I want to do is create lots of room for the rice to, as it bubbles up, to move around in. Not enough water and not enough room to move is like a cardinal sin with rice making. Add a cinnamon stick and a good sprinkle of saffron. As you can see, as soon as the saffron hits the water and it starts to heat up, it goes a lovely yellow. So while that rice cooks, I'm going to get started on the sauce. Right, get that on a high heat, and then we're going to add some butter. The secret to my biryani is to use a lot less fat and oil than a traditional recipe to keep it fresh and light. Start by browning garlic in hot butter, then cook onions till they're soft. So you have to kind of keep an eye on both. Make sure, Myra, look at that colour, it's like liquid gold. So you can see it's kind of cooked, but there are white bits still left in the centre, which means that I need to take that off right now. Right, let's go and drain that quickly. That's my rice done. For the rest of the sauce, add lemon juice, finely chopped rind, chilli, turmeric, and Indian 5-spice, which is a blend of fenugreek, cumin, brown mustard, fennel, and nigella seeds. Some clever clogs came up with this blend, and I love it. Right, now that's it. Now for my prawns. For something like this, I like to use uncooked prawns because as they cook, they kind of release a bit of moisture, but they also got that lovely flavour, so I like using raw prawns. I'm just kind of cooking the prawns till they're just very slightly pink, and then I'm going to turn the heat off because they're going to have another cook. When I layer the biryani, they'll cook, they'll steam in their own juices. With the prawns coated in the spicy sauce, add fresh parsley. So I've got my rice cooked, drained, prawns cooked, ready to go. All I've got to do is layer. To get my biryani lovely and crispy, I coat my pot in olive oil first. Add half the rice, and then layer on the spicy prawns, finishing off with the rest of the rice. I mean, look at that. That's gorgeous and yellow, and that's just from the saffron. And if you could smell it, you'd smell that cinnamon. I mean, and there's no food colouring, no food dye in sight. I mean, it looks like a pot of yellow rice right now, but you and I both know what's happening down here. So whack it on high heat for 5 minutes. And what this is going to do is, as soon as it hits that high heat, it's going to create this crust around the bottom, around the edge. And then as soon as you've done that for 5 minutes, turn it down. Now, there are loads of ways of serving biryani, and the way I like to do it is to tip it up onto a plate and mix it all round. I'm going to take the lid off. Look at that. You can see where all the rice is steamed in the middle, and then you've got that kind of like the drier bits, the crispier bits of rice around the edge. I'm going to get my dish, pop that on top, say a little prayer. Ooh. Okay, I'm stuck. I'm really stuck. I'm just being a total wimp. I am my dad's daughter, and I will turn this pot round. Oh, I got it. Woo! Okay. Get every last grain out, because they're the best bits. Look at that. You've got those deliciously lemony scented prawns, you've got the saffron rice, and you can still smell that cinnamon all in one pot. I mean, are you really going to order another biryani ever again? I hope not, because that is one wicked way to be welcomed home. Prawn saffron biryani. If you make this in advance, all you have to do when you come home is heat it up.
As for those banana skins I saved earlier, They're to be transformed into my banana skin and cauliflower curry. I start by making the paste. First, a couple of banana shallots and 4 fat cloves of garlic. Some fresh ginger and the stalks from a small bunch of coriander. I shall use the leaves later. For fire, a fresh red chilli. Then the warmth of cinnamon and turmeric. And then blitz patiently until it obligingly transforms into a vibrantly coloured mush. And then fry it fragrantly. It's a bit like cooking a roux, or in the sense that when the paste has fried for a bit, it sort of clumps together. It's a bit condensed. It's lost its bright hue, but I'm going to bring a little pink to its cheeks, some tomato puree. And on top of the curry paste, I'm going to add some coconut milk, not light, I beg you. I mean, the garlic and the ginger and the small amount of chilli, so wonderful with the sweetness of coconut milk. Need some lemon juice, just to add a bit of edge. Some salt, never knowingly undersalted. Just a little bit of sugar, which seems to bring the flavours out just as the salt and lemon do. They're all there, striving in their own perfect way for balance. I want this just to bubble away and thicken a bit, but in a wide pan like this, it won't take very long. I can't tell you how happy I was when I discovered that you could eat banana skins. Now, I admit, not totally visually appealing, but there's something always so gratifying about using up every last scrap. And all I do to get the banana skins ready for cooking is cover them in boiling water, add a bit of turmeric, a bit of salt, and leave the water to cool. I can't say that you can detect any pronounced banana flavour. It's really about the texture, and these just go so velvety and just swell and soften with the flavour of the curry sauce. I mean, you can cut them whichever way you like. This is something I do enjoy doing. So you get your fork, you hold it, and you sort of press along, and you get these, look, long, snaky bits. It actually does look rather spooky when it's in the curry. I feel like I'm eating gare, which is a Klingon delicacy. Anyway, they can go in, those little tassels. You see, once the bits of banana peel are cooked, they do look like aubergine skins. And in fact, when I've given this to people to eat, they have assumed, even after they've eaten, that that was aubergine. Cooking with leftovers is always inspiring, I think. And this takes it to another level, but I have more prosaic leftovers. A fridge forage yielded some cold cooked cauliflower. I use the leaves if they're tender too, and these just need to be heated up, warmed through. Right. I've thought ahead, essential for cooking and eating. And I have some warmed naan. Right, into my bowl. I call this a curry, but you mustn't think I mean a hot curry. It's mellow and it's aromatic. But if you want a hot curry, you can add as many chilies as you want. A perfect stove-side supper. This is what cooking is all about.
The Pontefract pumpkin.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Great winter veg, and we're going to make a Caribbean chicken and pumpkin curry. I mean, this would warm a polar bear on an iceberg, wouldn't it?
It would, Dave, it would.
You joint the chicken, I'll do the marinade.
Now, for the chicken, what I'm going to do, I'm going to skin it.
For the marinade, it's a Caribbean marinade, and so it's got all manner of wonderful things. I start off with 4 spring onions, roughly chopped. It's kind of like a variation on a jerk paste, but the thing is, we're using Caribbean curry powder. It is different and it works, so it's worthwhile investing in a tub. 4 cloves of garlic.
Skin the chicken before you joint it, because it's a lot easier to do.
Now, I've peeled my ginger, roughly chopped, and popped that in.
OK, while Dave's doing that, I'm just going to start to just joint the chicken.
It's only Scotch bonnet to bother with. The rest are all right, but these things are like they are difficult.
Well, they're like trying to put an octopus on, aren't they?
No, I'm talking about the Scotch bonnet. No, don't draw attention to me gloves.
Don't draw attention.
Have you done something to these?
I have not. I always get the blame for stuff and I never do it.
Right, just for precaution, take the top off. So are we going to leave the seeds in or out, Kingy?
Let's leave them in.
Whoa! Now, this is going to warm you up. Just put them in the dish, and because of my rubber gloves, I fear no pain. The zest and juice of a lime. Look at that. Caribbean curry powder, it's very specific. And let's have 2 big hoofers. And for another bit of Caribbean goodness, half a teaspoon of allspice powder. This Caribbean curry paste, you could make double the quantity and keep some for another day, put it in the fridge with some oil on the top. I mean, it's worth having some on standby because it brings the dullest of ingredients to life.
I'm going to take this lovely paste that Dave's just made, and we're going to make sure that every single piece of chicken is covered in it. If you can, try and leave this for as long as you possibly could.
I think this is definitely an overnight job.
I do, Dave.
You know, if you're planning for your meal for tomorrow night's supper, do this the night before you go to bed.
Yeah.
But do wear your rubber gloves because, you know, with the Scotch bonnets.
Yes, and I am wishing I had.
Aha.
And I grated me thumb the other day.
Oh, yes.
As you can imagine.
Yes. So I better just cover that with cling film and pop it in the fridge.
And I'm going to wash my hands.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Better now?
Yes, thank you.
Well, it's just a waiting game now, Si.
Great, we'll go to the pub.
Come on, then. Morning is broken, chicken's marinated. I'm browning off an onion in some coconut oil.
Beautiful. Right, in goes the chicken.
I'm going to skin a couple of tomatoes, mate.
OK, mate.
Plunge into boiling water. Woo! That is good, man.
Yes, it is.
Don't leave these for too long, because we want just the skin. We don't want them stewing. To stop that process, plunge them into ice-cold water. The skin pops off as easy as a builder's shirt when the sun shines.
I'm just going to add a little bit of this stock. The bay leaf and thyme in as well.
Now, that lovely tomato, which is just all the meat, we pop that in. How long do you reckon, Si?
It should be all right after 40 minutes, even with a bone in. If you're a bit worried about it, then leave it for 45 and it'll be absolutely done, I promise.
And then it's pumpkin time.
Yes.
Time for the hero pumpkin.
Let's have it.
What should we have? Pumpkin, it comes in so many shapes, sizes and forms.
Well, look at this, man.
I know.
Beautiful.
Look at that one.
And they all have a different flavour and a different texture.
But I've never seen a blue one before.
Let's get into it.
Right. The Hairy Biker's Caribbean and Blue Pumpkin Curry. Go on, then. Do you want a quarter of that?
Yeah. Crumbs. The great thing about pumpkins is they're not that easy. How beautiful is that, isn't it? Yeah. Do be careful, because they are a bit of an unwieldy beast.
Yes.
So just watch your fingers.
Just take the seeds and the core out the middle. This is nice texture as well. And we want to skin this and chop it into chunks.
When you add a pumpkin to a curry, there's a top note of sweetness that goes on. It's not overly powerful, it's just there.
And it adds substance to the curry. I mean, this is your veggie. And with all that flavour, it's going to be sweet, unctuous and gorgeous. We put the lid on and simmer it for 10 minutes. Then we take the lid off and simmer it for another 10 minutes so that the sauce and the water reduce. See you later. 10 minutes. Look how that. The pumpkin's cooked, it's dropped, the sauce has thickened. We're there. I think it's time for 2 top notes, Mr. King.
Number 1 top note, it being Caribbean, you cannot go to the Caribbean without drinking rum. So we just take a teaspoon and we just drip it over the top, just like that.
And I always like a bit of lime with me rum. Just the juice of half a lime. And it really does finish it off and sharpen it up a treat. Some spring onions and some coriander. Joyous, eh?
Look at that, great colours. We know there's some great flavours in there. Right, I'm going to have a taste.
I'm going for the pumpkin, that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
The pumpkin, that sauce.
Such a great ingredient.
I'm feeling hot now. Probably serve this with some rice at home.
Yeah.
Because of the pumpkin, you kind of don't.
Doesn't need it.
I need some bits and pieces for my curry tonight, and this being a butternut and sweet potato curry, there are no prizes for guessing what I'm going to get. So let's slice butternut, sweet potato, I get another one. Now, you can use ground turmeric in this curry, but what really makes the difference for me is using this fresh turmeric, these little rhizomes, and you can see they've got quite a tender, pinky oranginess that's peeking through the skin. Once you've peeled them, they are so intensely orange. They're very, very bright. I have to say that intense oranginess does get everywhere. So before I start, I peel the turmeric just using a teaspoon and then chop it up, and I leave it in a bowl ready for all the other paste ingredients. To the turmeric, I add roughly chopped red onion and chilies. Then I slice fresh ginger and pop that in too. Next, I chop some garlic and add that as well. And then on to the dried spices. First coriander and then a little cinnamon. Finally, I sprinkle in sea salt, and all that remains for me to do is blitz everything together. Glorious. And now I need this rambunctiously vibrant paste to make my rambunctiously vibrant curry. Now, whenever you cook with turmeric, you must never use a wooden spoon unless you don't mind it getting stained, And here's one I stained earlier. In fact, I've stained quite a few in my time. I just want to cook the paste just a teeny bit, let it soften. Well, no more than that. Now, good cans of coconut milk separate into a thick part on top and a watery part underneath. And it's the thick part I want in now. And the rich creaminess of the coconut milk is so wonderful against the fierceness of onion and chili, garlic and turmeric. Cooking, like the rest of life, is all about balance. On that note, I'm going to add the rest of the coconut milk. And you can see it is quite watery. And now some vegetable stock, and that's to say hot water and vegetable stock granules. Just to thin it a bit. The coconut milk, the butternut squash and the sweet potatoes are sweet. And I want to add a note of acidity with these canned tomatoes. All that remains to be done is for me to add the butternut squash and sweet potato. I'm going to drop them in very gently, otherwise I'll get splattered with orange. Might do anyway. And while caution was a wise plan, my impatience is getting the better of me, and I'm just going to add the rest now. And this now needs to come to the boil. Now I'm serving rice with, let me show you. It's this black Venus rice from Italy, because I just adore the drama of the black rice against the orange curry. I mean, you can serve whatever rice you want. I'm going to leave this to cook at a simmer with a lid on. I'll get on with my green sauce and then just put it in a bowl to go out on the table, and people can just dollop spoonfuls on their bowls of curry as they eat. To make this coriander and jalapeno salsa, I tear up an entire bunch of coriander. I want the stalks as well. Then I add roughly chopped fresh green jalapeno peppers. Now some roughly chopped garlic and a good sprinkling of sea salt. I pour over vegetable oil, then finely grate a couple of limes. Then my old favourite Mexican elbow comes into play, and I squeeze the juice into the bowl. And now I simply blitz to mix. Hello. Right, I'm ready. I'll label.
Again, it looks good.
The school meals want to have a label.
Oh, look at that. One spoonful or two spoonfuls of the sauce?
I think one, and people can add more as they need. Yes, you can splodge. You can
Oh, it's
splodge.
the splodge, yes.
Please, sir, can I have some more? Okay, chin chin, amici.
Buon appetito.
Cheers.
Thank you. No, if you've been on,
It can be. It can be.
very comforting. Yes.
Right, I'm gloving up to make my golden egg curry. It gets its goldenness from this turmeric. And although I want its beautiful hue in the food, I really could do without it staining everything in the kitchen, including me, forever. I use a teaspoon to peel it, like I do for ginger. It's the easiest way to go. It's very thin-skinned. Who isn't? Just comes off very easily. The cling film on the board is another one of my precautions. Seems a bit of a faff, I know, but it's so worth it, because fresh turmeric adds such depth. I mean, of course, you can use a teaspoon of ground turmeric, so don't worry. I'm going to just chop it roughly. And this is ingredient numero uno for the curry paste, which I'm going to make in here. And in it goes. And now I can deglove and get on with the rest of the paste. Fair amount of chopping has taken place. I've got some garlic and some regular green chilies. I've de-seeded them, and I've left these teeny little green finger chilies with the seeds in. They are very hot, but I'm trying to modulate the heat in this fashion. A lot of warmth, some ginger, and a lot of shallots. In everything goes. And now I'm going to blitz them to a paste. Oh, it's both fierce and fragrant. I've got a smooth paste now. All looks a bit day-glow green at this stage, but it won't once it's cooked. To do that, I'm going to heat some vegetable oil in this wok. And I'll get my spoon that I've already ruined with turmeric. And I have to say, ground turmeric does exactly the same. I'm just going to fry this until it softens. Think eggs poached in a rich, aromatic, tamarind-sharp, coconutty soup. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, nearly forgot my lemongrass. It's getting engulfed by the paste now. Looking rather Halloween, but it won't. But this now, as it's soft, it's slightly reduced. So in goes some coconut milk. And some tamarind, and the sharpness is so crucial here. Got a bit of salt, always important with eggs. Well, I think important with everything. Just a bit of water from this recently boiled kettle. While that's coming to the boil, I am going to perform a small amount of surgery on these 3 finger chilies, because part of my heat modulation scheme means that if I pierce these slightly with the tip of a knife, a bit of the heat will seep out into the sauce. If you want it milder, don't pierce them. If you want it much milder, don't add them. And however hot you think you like your food, don't eat them. The currency of recipes is such a valuable one to me, and I was given this recipe by a Malaysian friend. I'm going to hope my Malaysian is okay here, because I think it's called masak lemak telur. Now, this is lusciously thick and still bubbling. So, in goes the egg. See, you can hear the curry sauce is impatient for it. On goes the lid. I have to say, I often make a huge batch of this sauce in advance and freeze it or put it in the fridge in portions so I can have a golden egg curry at a moment's notice. Yes, that is just how I like the egg. So the white's cooked, but the yolk looks like it's going to be fabulously runny. Tummy is rumbling. I might give it a little bit of chilli, try not to bite on it. And I've got some flatbreads left over, just right for dippage as well. Right, I'm going in.